programs and let me click my got it button here. Folks that are running the programs and folks that are doing the tutoring and teaching of our adult education students. And the majority of those resources are on Education Network. If I could just get everybody, like, you can raise your hand. You can raise your hand on the little icon or a thumbs up. How many of you use Education Network as part of your program to provide resources to tutors, teachers, other staff members? All right. I see a few people, yes, but it looks like for most of people, Education Network might be a new thing. So part of what we'll do is we'll do just kind of an overview of what Education Network is and why it might be of value to you. I can do kind of a quick overview of that. And then I want to show you one feature of it for our member organizations, which is creating a custom login page. And the reason why that's helpful is it makes it easier for your tutors and teachers and other staff to create an account on Education Network, have that associated with your organization so that they get all the membership benefits that you pay for, and so that you can run reports and see some information about the resources that they're using. So let's start out, and I am going to share my screen here. So let's see, that is this one. All right. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yes. Now we
All
can.
right. Perfect. So this is Education Network, and I'll go back and we'll kind of show you how to create an account and how to log in and all of that good stuff in just a minute. And Michelle Smith, if I can get you to type in the URL for Education Network in the chat, just proliteracyednet.org, that would be great. So this is the landing page for our resource hub, Education Network. You'll see that my account, it's a administrative account, but it thanks you for being a member. So one of the ways that you know that you have a membership account is that little message there. And you'll see as you scroll down, there are several ways to find resources. So one is there's a little search bar up here, and I can type in anything I'm interested in. So if I just type in fluency and hit return, I'm going to get a list of different resources related to fluency. Now, the reason why this is beneficial, if I go to Google and type in fluency, I'm going to get millions and millions of entries from Google. If I type in fluency here, I'm going to get about 20. So these are all resources that we've curated that we know are going to be of most value to you. So it's a way to kind of narrow your search results, especially if you're trying to find resources to help with your students or to help you develop a budget or whatever that is. If you're kind of new to Education Network, you can come on and just explore resources based on who you are. So if I'm a program manager or a tutor or even a student, I can click here. I'm going to do tutor and teacher. And I'll see a list of resources, and you'll see over here on the left, I can narrow that down based on, am I interested in citizenship resources? Maybe I'm interested in teaching reading comprehension and so on. So those can kind of narrow down. We have the next section is our Member Central area. So this is where we house all of our membership resources, like our notebook. If you're a member of ProLiteracy, you get Notebook, which is a great resource sent to you about 3 times a year. We have archives of all those notebook resources. It's where your tutors and teachers can access our basic literacy and ESL tutor training for free. We can talk a little bit more about that and other kind of membership benefits. And then down at the bottom, whenever we release a new course or something like that, we put it in here in this featured resource section so that it's easy to find. So that's kind of education network and the types of things you can find on it. I would encourage you to just create an account and explore. So now I'm going to just kind of start with a new tab. And this is where we're going to get into that idea of a custom login page. So Michelle typed in the URL for ProLiteracy EdNet, and it's just proliteracyednet.org. And I'm going to type that in, and I'm going to show you what happens when I type that in. Excuse me for just a minute. My voice is going a little bit. So when I type that in, we come to a landing page, and this landing page is just to give you some information about what Education Network is. And you'll see over here on the right, there's an area for me to log into if I log into it, if I already have an account, and there's places for me to create an account if I'm a member or a non-member. So you can send your tutors and teachers and other staff members here to create an account. And I would just click on this ProLiteracy members form and fill it in. And I'm going to click I'm not a robot, and it's going to ask me to identify bridges. Let's see, that looks like all the bridges. And here's kind of where the problem occurs. So for your folks, if I'm a tutor, for me to get access to all of the benefits that you're paying for as a ProLiteracy member, like access to the tutor training for free, I need to know your organization member number. So that means you need to have sent it to me or given it to me. I need to type it in properly, which surprisingly doesn't always happen well. Even if we kind of cut and paste, a lot of times people copy the period at the end. A lot of times people just copy the number, not the ORG in front of it. And all of that just kind of delays people getting associated with your organization. So we have a form that you can fill out, and I'm going to type that address, the URL, in the chat. There we go. And that's also on a handout that I'm going to send around after this that Dawn can send out, and it has a link to it as well. But that form, it's just a real simple form. And I'm going to type that in here and show you what it looks like. So it's just an online form. It asks your organization name, your organization member number. It asks for your web address, and I'll show you why that's important in a minute. And then it asks who's going to be the administrator. Now that's typically the person that fills out the form. So that I would put my name there, my email address. And I want to make sure that I already have an Education Network account, because when you fill out this form, the person whose name is listed there is going to be the administrator for your organization. And all that really means is that you have the power to run reports, and you have the power to create and organize your member forum. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And then we're just asking for a description of how you're going to use the forum. And then we create kind of a customized banner and ask you to select kind of an image that you want to be as part of your banner. And there's 20 to choose from. And we try to have kind of all representations of what different programs look like. The kind of students we serve, if we're doing classwork, if we're doing one-on-one tutoring, if we're doing virtual work, that sort of thing. So you submit that, and then we will create a custom login page. And here's what a custom login page looks like. So I'm going to type in the URL. It's proliteracyednet.org. and I'm going to show you the one for the organization that I'm a member of here at in St. Louis. And it's called the Literacy Roundtable. Now, our URL for our organization is literacyroundtable.org. So when I created this custom login page for our organization, I used that URL as a way to brand it. So the URL for our custom login page is proliteracyednet.org/literacy roundtable. So it's a nice, easy URL for you to share with your organizations. Most of the time I go off of whatever the URL is for your organization. Sometimes if you're a library, like we'll have a project read that's in the, Cahokia library. And so the URL is like Cahokia library.us.gov or something like that. And so I'll just kind of reach out and say, do you want that URL or do you want a different one? And we kind of accommodate that. But most of the time we just go off of people's URL. So if I type that in and hit return, you're going to see my custom login page. So it's nice right here, branded. Here's the image that we picked out to be our banner. Everything here is just kind of a customized template. So the only kind of customization we have here, you'll see my organization's name. Welcome to the Literacy Roundtable's member portal. But I would give that URL out to anybody in my organization to create an account. And here's why, because I can scroll down here and I can click on create an account and you'll see the first page looks the same. So I'm going to put my information in there. And now I've got to click on buses. There we go. But now on this second page, I'm going to make this bigger. You'll see that it automatically identifies me as a member of the Literacy Roundtable, and it automatically enters my organization ID number. So I don't have to worry about sharing that with my tutors, teachers, staff, and having them enter it properly. That's already done. So I can give them a URL. They can easily create an account. They can remember that URL and go back and log in. I'm going to cancel here. And I'm going to go back to that URL because I want to show you one other thing. There we go, Literacy Roundtable. The other thing that we have is we can also create a student account, and I'll show you why that's important. And that has kind of the same thing. Fill all that in. Traffic lights. Stairs. So when a student creates an account, it automatically puts their organization information in, but also identifies them as a student. And that's important because students have a much simpler navigation than tutors and teachers and staff and other folks. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So that's really kind of the first kind of big benefit of it, is that it's an easy way for people to create an account and be associated with you. So I'm going to go back to that one more time. And then I'm just going to click on login because I already have an account. Now, when you create a custom login page, there are two other benefits that you get. One is we create for you a member forum. So this is a forum. It's basically just a discussion board for your organization. And because people use that form to create an account, they're automatically associated with your organization. So they automatically have access to your forum. Now, when I click on forums, because I'm an administrator, it's going to show me everybody's a forum. There's a lot of them. But when your people create an account to begin with, they're only going to see about 6 or 7 forums that everybody's enrolled in, and one of them is going to be yours. So I'll show you the forum for the Literacy Roundtable, which I think is going to be towards the end. Let's see, the Literacy Roundtable. Yep, so see, here's our member forum, and you'll see we have 10 members. These are all people who have created an account and are associated with our organization. Now, our organization hasn't made great use of the member forum, but I'll show you one that has. So if I click on forum, and I'm going to find Indie Reads, GHI, let's go back.
Hey, Todd,
There we
while
go.
you're doing that, we did have a question. If they don't know their ProLiteracy membership number, how can they get that information?
So they can ask Michelle, and I'll let Michelle explain how to do that. Michelle, you want to unmute and talk about that? Can you do that? Yeah.
Yes, all they have to do is email us at membership@proliteracy.org, and we can look them up and provide their member number. That's assuming they don't have reference to the welcome letter or renewal letter that was sent out with the membership number. If they can't lay their hands on that, just email us and we can look it up.
Okay, can you put
Yeah.
that down?
Yep, doing it right now.
Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing that they can do is if they fill out the form and they don't have access to that, is they can tell me the name of their organization and on that form and put the city and state that they're in as well. And I can look it up. I may have to email them back and verify that this is who they are, but that happens sometimes as well.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so here's Indie Reads. And I think they've kind of done a really good job of using their member forum. So you'll see they've got 53 members, and they've created a lot of topics, and you'll see they have 3 folders. So one is about Indie Reads, and this is just kind of where they've put information about their organization, volunteer and student spotlights, so stories and things like that. They also have put training videos. So as their tutors go through their initial live training, they've put additional resources in here for them to watch and respond to or talk about during the live session. So it makes it easy for them to just say, go create an account, go to our forum, look in the training videos, and watch assignment 5. And we're going to talk about that in the next session. And then they have a folder for additional resources. So these are resources about being an effective tutor, using the vowel circle. That's something that they do. And all of those are just kind of places where they can store resources and people can download them and ask questions about that. So especially if you don't have a good place on your website to like house resources, and these can be resources that are internal to Education Network. They can also be external resources. So if I am wanting to post to something, I can create a posting, and this is what it looks like. I create a title, I type in what I want to hear, but you'll see that I can upload, I can attach a file or attach a link to a website there. So it's not just reliant on resources that are in Education Network. You can also bring in external resources. So if you wanted to post your monthly tutor report, things like that, your annual statistical report, or notifications about a student event or things like that, you can post those in there. And it's it kind of serves as a repository for your forms and things like that. Also, when you search, when you use this search function right here, if there is a entry in the forum that uses that same terminology, that will show up in your search results. And because your forum is associated with your organization, Those search results only show up for people that are associated with your organization. So, and if you have a great resource on fluency that you've posted to your forum, if I'm associated with your organization and I type in fluency, that resource is going to pop up. And when I click on it, it's going to take me to that forum entry and I'll see the resource and see what everybody has said about it. If Michelle is not associated with your organization, it doesn't show up in her results. So that's kind of nice. It's kind of a nice benefit for creating an account and having a custom login page. The other thing, and this is going to be hard for me to show you, but I do have a resource about the custom login pages that has some links to videos that'll show you this better, is you have access to reports. And so some of the reports that you have are, let's see, I'm going to go in shared with me. I think this is what I want, user data reports. So active user report, for example. So if I click on this, what it's going to show me is all the people in my organization that have created an account on Education Network. And it's going to show me when they created an account and the last time that they were on. So it's a way for me to check and see which one of my tutors are using the resources that I am kind of referring them to. Another report is the training hours completed by user. So this one is just going to show me for any individual person. And again, it's just going to show me people because I'm an administrator. It shows me everybody. But for Anne, and Anne, I apologize. I'm just going to use you as an example because I see your face there. For Anne, it's just going to show her the users that are associated with her organization. So she sees only her folks, nobody else's. But for example, if I have people taking the ESL or basic literacy tutor training, it's going to show me the person, it's going to show me all the training titles they've done, and it's going to show me if they've completed them or not. Okay. For students, we have some specific student resources, and I can run those reports as well. I can see how many student hours, how many students have been on this month versus last month. I can look at an individual student's transcript and see what resources they're accessing as students. And the reports, these are fairly new. So our approach has been just to create some basic reports and then rely on users to tell us, you know what, thank you for this report, but I really need a report that does this. If you let us know what kind of reports you need, we can then create those and make them available to you. I'm going to stop here and just see if there are any questions. I think this is a good opportunity to stop. I do want to show you the kind of student navigation, but I'll do that after we ask questions. Anybody?
We did have one in the chat, Todd.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So they wanted to know, will they receive their ProLiteracy membership information through email? Or how will they receive that information?
Michelle, you want to talk about generally, and then I'll tell them what happens after they fill out the login page form.
Right. So at the time of joining or renewal, we mail a membership packet that includes membership number, a benefits guide listing all the benefits. Organizational members also receive a nice certificate that they can display. And then sometimes there's information on there on new projects or products that are resources that are coming out that we think members want to know about. So it is only mailed at this point. We're trying to move towards being able to email member numbers, but we're not there just yet.
Okay. And if they haven't received the packet, they should reach out through the form that Todd was referencing.
They should
They
reach
should
out to
email
that
membership at
Oh, email
at
proliteracy.org.
ProLiteracy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
got-
we can send a replacement if they didn't get
Yeah.
it, because we'll want to verify we have the correct mailing address.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
all the packets went out for MACAE members, so if they didn't get it, then it's gotten waylaid, so we'll have to replace it.
Okay.
And then once you complete the form, like I said, I will go about setting up that custom login page, and you'll receive an email from me that basically says, I can show you exactly what it says because it's a form. Here we go. So it'll have your name and kind of 5 points. So it'll give you the address of your custom login page. So you see here, this one is proliteracyednet.org/LV Morris. It'll tell you that there's a separate button for students to use to create accounts so they can be identified in our system as students. It's important to kind of make sure your tutors and students know to use that student button. It tells you that your forum's been created. It tells you the name of your forum and tells you that you're the moderator. As the moderator, you can organize the topics in the forum. You can also run reports. And then it has links to videos. The first 2 are webinars that we did on the custom login pages and kind of the benefits of them when we first launched this benefit. The third one is a how-to video about how to create accounts and use the custom login page. And the fourth one is just how to use the dashboards and the report features. And so you have those as reference points. And so that's what you'll get from us. And then the last thing I wanted to do was I wanted to show you kind of what a student account looks like. And I'm going to stop sharing for just a minute so that I can change one of my many accounts to a student. Oh, I think, you know what? I think I'm already identified as a student. So let me go back and share again, and I'm going to log out. You guys can see that screen again, right? Okay, so this I think is my student account. I created it. I used that student button. It identified me as a student. So when I log in as this, as a student, you'll see that the navigation for me as a student looks very different, right? Because we know students, we needed to create a way for students to navigate that was kind of written more simply, relied on pictures and things like that. So each one of these kind of cards is oriented towards a specific thing that students might want to do. The spotlight section is where we have kind of new resources that we've launched. There's a navigation piece that goes directly to videos. So if I click on this, this is going to take me to videos that show me how to find student resources on Education Network. Anytime I'm on a page and I want to go back to that landing page, that welcome page, I can click on the logo at the top left, and that's going to take me right back. But you'll see here are some of the resources. So we've got pleasure reading resources. We've got resources to practice reading, practice writing, practice English, become a citizen, and so on. And if I click any of those, it's just going to take me to different resources. So if I click on practice reading, you'll see we've got a practice course for folks that are using Laubach Way to Reading, Book 1. It's to give students an opportunity to practice outside of class. You'll see that there's a course on understanding finance and money. It's kind of introducing financial literacy terms in the context of reading stories about people kind of dealing with financial issues. And there's also work on vocabulary and comprehension, things like that. Some areas we have more resources than others, but this is just a way for students to kind of navigate back. If you are, and I'm going to log out of this and log back into mine. If you are a tutor, and you're wanting to show your students kind of how to navigate, you can click on this little button here that says change account type. And I can click on that and I can change my position to student. And I'll immediately have student navigation. So I can demonstrate to the student like what to look for, what to click on. And then when I want to go back, I click on change account type and I go back to national level staff. And everybody other than students have this kind of normal navigation piece. And if you haven't been on Education Network before, we've got there's lots of training for tutors and teachers. There's our kind of core basic literacy and ESL tutor training. Basic literacy, the online piece has 12 modules. There's a corresponding set of face-to-face materials. So if you don't do online training and you're doing face-to-face training, you can download those face-to-face materials. It's a PowerPoint, trainer notes, and handouts. The handouts are really nice. You do all 12 modules, then your tutors and teachers have a tutor handbook that's about 120, 150 pages of just good information and teaching strategies and stuff like that. It's a PowerPoint, so the PowerPoints are customizable. They're designed for you to make them your own. We know that programs have your own way of doing things, so they're designed for you to integrate ours into your current and existing tutor training the way that makes sense. The content for the face-to-face training and the online training is fundamentally the same. We had to tweak some activities because of the format, but other than that, it's the same, so they're interchangeable. You can use that online to make up training when somebody misses a tutor training, things like that. We also have a bunch of demonstration videos, great video resource library. In fact, I'll kind of show you what that looks like. And just I'll click on Browse All here. And we'll go to the video library. So two really good resources. Go to the instruction section. I'm sorry, that's not in the instruction section. They are there too, but the two collections, Tutor Ready Reading and Tutor Ready Writing. If you haven't seen these, the Tutor Ready Reading is about 70 videos of just instructional techniques, how, 5 different ways to improve fluency. And it's a tutor and a student working together. They explain what the strategy is they're going to use. They demonstrate it. And then the tutor talks to the student about the strategy, what they liked about it, didn't like about it, and so on. So if you have kind of tutors or teachers that are having trouble with a specific issue, teaching spelling to the students, something like that, that's a great resource to refer them to, and they can learn some good strategies. We have other shorter online courses. We have lesson plans that tutors and teachers can download. For you folks, we have in the program management section, we have a great set of adult literacy management and leadership courses around creating budgets, around administrative tasks like creating operating procedure manuals and things like that, around board development, around HR, around crisis management, change management. These courses, we just recently made them free to all ProLiteracy members. There's a fee if you're not a ProLiteracy member, but if you are a ProLiteracy member, these are free and available to you, along with lots of other resources about communications and things like that. Lots of field-based templates. So if you're thinking about strategic planning, for example, there's strategic planning information in these courses. There are also field-based resources of examples of strategic plans. I think I hear from Joy, there's a question, can you have 2 people designated with admin accounts? Yes. So generally the way we do that is, like I said, one person's name is on the form, so we make that person. Generally, when I send that email out, I get an email back that says, can you also add so-and-so as an administrator? And I just go in and add them. So we do want to limit it, because administrators can do a little bit more with our system. We don't want you to identify like 75 people in your organization to be administrators, but yeah, you can have more than one. Absolutely. I think that's about all I kind of had around, just in general, around Education Network and the custom login page and why it's beneficial to folks. So I'll stop here again and just see if anybody has any questions about the custom login page, about Education Network in general, or we have Michelle here if you have more general questions about membership. And Elaine here as well, who's a great resource. Anybody? Don't be shy. We're very friendly.
It's a great time to ask all your questions, because I know I get some calls with folks saying they don't know how to log in or how to create an account, and they want to know what all's included in their membership. So you have the two experts on the line today, guys. Ask away.
I don't have a question, but I really appreciate this session. As you were talking, I'm like on my desktop creating an account right now. I already have a membership, but I didn't realize that we could have our own customized page. And so we're going to use this as for our staff, tutors, students, for everybody. I mean, this is awesome. So thank you for this presentation, because I always knew we weren't using this, our membership to its full potential.
To its fullest potential. Absolutely.
A common refrain, Kimberly. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad you learned about that benefit and are going to deploy it.
And Kimberly, let me say one thing while you just mentioned creating an account. One thing it's important to understand is when you're creating an account, it's important that you create an individual account, not an account for your organization. So I don't want to create a Literacy Roundtable account on Education Network. I want to create a Todd Evans account on Education Network and have it associated with the Literacy Roundtable. And the reason for that is when you take our courses, for example, at the end of that course, if I pass the exam, I get a certificate. I want my individual name on that certificate. So if I'm a tutor, I can take that certificate and either print it out or save it as a PDF and show it to my program to be able to say, I took that training that you said I needed to take. If you just have an organizational account, kind of all of that certificates gets put together and all you ever have is the Literacy Roundtable completed this, and you have no way of distinguishing individuals. So
well, it's even worse than that, because if you're sharing an account and take turns logging in with that shared username, you might take this course and go through lessons, the entire course, and then the next person comes on and wants to take that course and it's already showing as completed. So the only way the system can provide that customized training where you can save resources you're interested in and take courses and know where you left off when you leave a course and come back is if you have your own unique username attached to your EdNet account. The member number is how we're going to link you to the organization.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And just another thing, I know if you have your students creating accounts to be able to access those resources, some students may have email addresses, some students may not. An email address is required to create an account, but it doesn't have to be a legitimate email address. It just has to have kind of an email address structure. So a lot of times people will put, like my students at my Literacy Roundtable might put their first initial, last initial. So it might be TE at TLR for the Literacy Roundtable.org. That email doesn't exist. It's fine, but the system knows it. And as long as I remember that that's my login name, I'll just use that.
But it's also just as easy to help students create free Gmail addresses.
If they create an email, then you can reach out to them. Yeah. So.
My staff is cracking up. Lead them down the hall.
I'm gonna-
Anybody else?
Oh, like that.
But I'm glad you got excited about it, Kimberly, about being able to use it.
Michelle, I was going to see if you could kind of, I get a lot of questions on this too. So let's say if they, okay, so tell them the other benefits with their ProLiteracy membership when it comes to purchasing New Readers Press materials. Okay.
Sure. It's 25% on the materials that New Readers Press is the publisher for which they have the imprint. So all those materials are available to get the discount. The only things that are excluded are things where we're not the publisher, like Oxford Picture Dictionary or things like that. So all the print materials for which they're the publisher, it's 25% discount. They do have like bulk discounts at New Readers Press. So if you get the bulk discount, that's already 20%. So you won't get another 25 on top of that, but you'll get that extra 5 to bring it to 25%. That's an important distinction.
Okay, and then the other question to follow up on that. So if they go on our website and create an account, will it automatically show their ProLiteracy membership number? Or
It won't show that to them, I don't think, on the customer side where you're creating an account, but that system links to the records in publishing's database, which is regularly updated with member records. So to make sure that the systems are in sync. So and we're working on an even better integration for that, so it'll be even more timely, but they're routinely updating those reports to reflect current membership status. And so when that account gets created, it should be labeled as a member account. If they have any concerns about that, they can always email NRP customer service at nrp@proliteracy.org. And if they have questions, they can always contact me and just find out to verify the membership.
So we're just confirming that their discounts will happen at their time of purchase then?
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
And if it doesn't, they should say something right away so we can figure out what went wrong there and remedy the situation.
Wonderful. This has been wonderful. Any more questions, thoughts, comments, strategies?
No, and I'll just say a couple more things about the resources on Education Network. So those of you who might also be using New Readers Press materials, there are a lot of resources on Education Network that support New Readers Press materials. For example, the citizenship materials that New Readers Press sells, we have 4 courses for tutors and teachers about citizenship that are based off of those books. So there's kind of an overview of the citizenship process, and there's a course around the literacy tests, the interview, and the civics test, kind of correlating to those books. And it's teaching strategies that support the content in those books. Plus, there's a lot of other resources. The woman, Lynn Weintraub, that wrote those books, also helped us write the courses that we have on Education Network. We have a bunch of workforce development courses for students around doing job research, writing a resume, preparing for your interview, applying for jobs online. A lot of that content supports the workforce content from New Readers Press around WorkWise, those materials. So a lot of those correlations. And then we also have a lot of the lesson plans that we have on Education Network are taken from New Readers Press materials. We have lesson plans from Challenger, from trying to remember if we have any from Journey to Success. I don't remember, but from the different ESL materials, things like that. So if you ever want to, Elaine, and this is good for you to know as well, if you ever want people to be able to try out a lesson, they can download a lesson from the materials and try it with your students. And those are all easy to find. There's a lesson plan section on Education Network.
Wonderful. Wonderful info. Yes, we just had Lynn's session. Lynn did a session yesterday. And so I think I went over very well. I see a lot of folks from yesterday on here today.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, we did have a special offer on her books, and I think Dawn is going to post that on the site later. But the promo code for that was MACAEP23, and that was to save 10% on her books.
Oh, great. Yeah, yeah.
MACP 23.
Yes, MACAEP23. Thank
Oops,
you.
wait a minute. I did that wrong. Hold on.
Yeah. And I know they've started the process for making revisions to that citizenship process as well.
Right,
The test. And
She went over
So-
all of it yesterday. It was wonderful. It really got us up to speed on what's happening, what's going to happen. And then hey, if you're going to type a promo code, I'll let you type one more. We're also offering free shipping to any conference attendees on any orders over $100. And that promo code is MACAE23. Thanks, Michelle.
MACAE 23.
Yes, so 2 promo codes for today.
Okay. And the
And
other
the
one was
last thing-
MACAE 23 to EP23.
There you go.
All right. Try to get these right. I don't want to mess people up here.
I'm just
Yeah.
doing it. I'm
And so Joel had a great question, Joel. I appreciate this. So Joel's question is, for the online courses that include a lot of separate documents like the tutor training workshop, is there a way to download all of the files at once? So I'm going to answer this generally, and then I'm going to answer this specifically for the tutor workshop. So generally, we are moving toward that. When we've been like designing courses and putting them on we've had this new system for about 5 years now. I think we launched in 2017. I know we launched the tutor training materials in 2018. We've learned a lot about the online course instructional design. So one of the features that we have now for the new courses that we develop is we put in a resource page. So all of the documents that get kind of referenced throughout the course, where you're downloading it because you're on a specific page, there's also a place where you can go to one place and be able to download all of those things. That's in our templates now, not necessarily in the old courses, but as we go through and update those old courses and move them to the new templates, we're moving to that format. The second thing I'll say, Joel, is for the tutor training specifically, if you don't want to go through course by course in the online training and download those resources, let me go to the face-to-face materials. And let me share my screen again. So that's screen 2, share. Okay. So you remember me telling you that the face-to-face materials were the same as the online materials. So if I go down here and click on tutor training, and I click on basic literacy tutor training face-to-face workshop materials, and launch that, what that's going to basically be is, let's do no. So it's going to start off acknowledgements and so on. So what that's going to be is basically an online course where each module is one page, and I can click and download the PowerPoint, or I can click and download the PDF that has the trainer notes and all the handouts for that particular session. Those handouts are fundamentally the same as the handouts in the online tutor training. About 95% are the same. The only differences would be when an activity had to be changed to kind of work with an online format. So if I clicked on that download the trainer notes, it's going to have I'll show you what it looks like. So it's going to have the trainer notes that look like this. And then at the end of the trainer notes, it's going to have handouts. So there's not any handouts for that particular session. So let's go to the lesson plan. That's going to have student handouts. So here are the handouts for the tutors, right? So that's an easier way to download those for you, Joel. And then, like I said, we're going back through, and as we move those tutor training workshops to our new template, we'll make it even easier for you. Is that helpful, Joel?
Yeah, I was also sort of thinking in a single file. Is there a single file that has all of the entire, the trainer notes
Yeah.
for the entire course?
I think I have a PDF of that single file, Joel. If you want to email me, and I'll put my email in the.
I got it.
I got it.
Okay.
There we go. If you want to email me, I think I've compiled that file for the literacy and ESL because I think I've had somebody else ask me that. I can't put my hands on it right this second, but if you email me, I can send that to you. And that goes for anybody else too.
And is that how it'll be loaded, Todd, when you get it loaded to those portfolio pages? Will it be as one document or still segmented?
When we download it to the into the new template, it'll be one document, one big document. All right, let's see. Are there any other questions? I don't see any other questions in the chat. So I think we're kind of getting close to the cutoff time. So Dawn, I will turn things back over to you and just say thank you to everybody for letting me present and tell you about Education Network. And I hope you guys take advantage of that custom login page.
Well, thank you so much, Todd, and Elaine, and Michelle, for all of your useful information and resources. We will send out all of the materials that they've shared with us today, and also the video recording of this session. So thank you, everyone, for attending, and you get a few extra minutes of your Friday afternoon back. And
Never a bad thing.
that's right. And hopefully it's sunny where you are. It's not so sunny here in Lansing area, but at least it's not snowing. So it can't be that bad.
Good to see everyone. Thanks, Todd, Michelle, and everyone for
You're
joining.
very welcome.
Thank
Y'all
you.
take
Thanks.
care.
Good to see you. Bye.
Thank you.